What's up, motherfucker? So, heading off to Sonora to go pick up my wife's medicine. We're on speaking terms at the moment. Who knows how long that'll last, though. Looks like someone's scouting out Caltrans or some shit. Anyways, you know, it is Caltrans. Oh, look who's smart over here. I think the dam got higher. I don't think it should have, so that's interesting. I'll read about that later. God damn it, piece of shit. Anyways, okay. So I saw this one comment or whatever, and it kind of reminded me of myself like quite a while ago. It was in regards to suicide, and I'm not making light of the situation or the conversation or the topic, because it definitely is a serious topic for sure. You know, I was just trying to think back on, like, cause it was honestly so long ago, like, back when I used to want to die and stuff. What I would do is I would just take a lot of pills and go to sleep. But it's hard to say, because people that didn't know me, you know, just like on a surface level, you know, which is most people, they just know this, they just know the surface, you know, they don't actually know what the fuck goes on in people's minds. But I don't know if I'm just a particular case, but whatever. So I used to take, you know, a cornucopia of opiates, to quote Falling in Reverse. But I mean, like Somas, Klonopins, Valiums, Benadryl. I know it's not a whatever, but I mean, it makes you feel a certain way, especially when you take everything else with it. I remember, you know, I would crush up like a day's worth of pills because I didn't have alcohol when I was 13, you know, and I'd put them in like a cranberry and lemonade with like sour like lemon juice in it, and I would just sip on it, you know, watch Headbangers Ball back when I had VHS tapes and I would record it, you know. And, you know, a couple times, like, I purposely put more than I'd ever, you know, taken in there, and I just would chug it, or I would just, you know, do stupid shit, and, you know, and I would normally end up feeling like I was dying, you know, and I thought I was, and I would write all these fucking lyrics and stuff, and, you know, have all this little weird, like, mental awakenings, or whatever you want to call them, you know, but I would never die, you know. I kept waking up, and you know, it was more of like an experimentation. Like, you know, a lot of people have said like, oh, you know, you were a cutter or whatever. My scars don't even hella show anymore. They used to a lot, you know, but I mean, like, I have more scarification. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's more of it's a 5, you know. Like, I actually, you know, I was trying to draw symbols. I wasn't trying to cut and get attention, or, you know, like, bleed, yeah. Like I was trying to explain in one other video that, like, you know, there's something about bleeding. There's, you know, it's just, there's something about it. There just is, you know. I don't really do it anymore, you know, because I have other shit to do, you know. I mean, but I mean, if I had a razor blade, I wouldn't mind, you know, carving something into my leg, or drawing something, or, you know, but it wouldn't be for attention. It wouldn't be, it was, you know, it was really never out of self-loathing. I'll tell you this one kind of funny thing that just like popped into my head. Anyone ever watch that show Degrassi or whatever? And they had like that, I believe it was like the stereotypical like emo chick or whatever. So of course she was gonna cut herself. Like, what else would she do? You know? I don't remember the character's name or like fully or whatever. Yeah, but I remember she like got a protractor, you know, like those things that you have in school that are pointy and that like they extend and they do like one point on the map and you go like this, like doing radiuses and shit. I mean, Degrassi showed me a perfect way to cut without a razor blade. Like, you know, there was a bunch ended up being in the garage because my grandpa was kind of like a makeshift carpenter, like I ended up being, which is funny or whatever. But so yeah, thank you, Degrassi, for helping me, you know, cut, you know. And like, so the clip was like, she was in her friend's bathroom and she had a protractor and she was like cutting her hip. It's just like, fucking cried. Anyways, I'm easily distracted. Listening to Korn's newest album? Semi-newest album? I don't know. See if I get copyrighted for the music. So far I haven't. gotten taken down for any sort of whatever, but I don't know. We shall see. But yeah, fucking, so yeah, it was just like the weirdest fucking situation that I could imagine, like, because when I would cut, or whatever, I remember I used to have, like, these weird little goblets, or whatever, like, the kind of thing you would sip whiskey out of, right, you know, and, you know, I'd be chilling in my room, I'd be listening to music, you know, probably reading, having fucking, like, candles going and shit, like, not in, like, a weird way, you know, well, I mean, I'm define weird, really, you know, but I would listen to, like, The Crimson from Atreyu, you know, just get into that album, you know, and who wasn't fucking obsessed with being vampires when they were that age? Was it just me? I remember I read the Cirque du Freak books, and I fucking hated the movie. The movie was terrible. The books were amazing, you know, but I just feel like that was inevitable because movies always suck, you know, in comparison to the books, hence Twilight, but then again, Twilight was pretty bad too, you know, even the books, but yeah, so I used to pretend I used to have, like, a little vampire friend, like, pathetic little, you know, 12, 13-year-old me, you know. It's so like, cute to look back on, because I'm like, oh my god, you're such a dumbass, you know? Fuck. You know, or, like, looking at my old MySpace pictures. Dude, if you want a good laugh, please go to MySpace and just search Courtney Romiti. R-O-M-I-T-I. Copy that. And, oh my god, some of, like, the cringiest, but, like, the best times ever. And I actually have pictures of me, like, cutting on my wrist and shit. I was that bad. Or, like, oh my god, I remember I had this really cool, like pocket knife. And what does my cringy 15-year-old ass do? You know, I hold it to my throat and, like, look away, like, oh my god, look at me. Oh my god, it was so fucking funny, like, looking back on that shit. Like, oh my god, dude, just stop. You know? But, like, you know, I used to be so embarrassed of it. Like, my wife used to bring it up. Oh, yeah, look at, you know, all this shit you used to put on MySpace. I was like, so? You know, or, like, look at the shit you used to put on Facebook. I was like, it's not half as bad as the shit you used to put on MySpace, so fuck. You know? But, you know, I know I've initially talked about suicide, but that's, like, the point. Is, like, I look back on my life back then, you know, and it fucking did suck. Like, I was homeschooled, and I was just, like, isolated from the world up until I was 15, and I moved in with my, you know, meth head mom, and, like, you know, just kind of had to figure out life for myself, and I was super addicted to pills and drugs and alcohol, and meth was my bestest friend. You know, we didn't visit very often, but when we did, it was fun. You know, then we had fights, and haven't been back since. But, you know, but the point is like, everything is temporary, you know. Going back really quickly to the whole blood part, you know, and the cutting thing, it's just like, you know, I carved, like, you can see it, but the sun has to be right, but I carved a V for, like, Vicodin on that part of my hand, or whatever, because I used to love Vicodin, that was my thing, you know. Hydrocodone and fucking Oxycontin is, like, the most beautiful substance that ever came into my life, you know. Second to Soma, but Soma's a lot harder to get, you know. Back then, it didn't really matter because my grandma's was like a fucking CVS for, you know, for fucking prescription painkillers, so, you know. But it's just like, that kind of, even with drugs, you can't sustain the high forever. You have to find other shit, you know. That's why for a long time, you know, I wanted to be all straight edge and shit. And it's funny because I used to call myself a metalhead when I was younger. I used to call myself straight edge before I really, like, knew what that meant, you know. And it's just like, you know, now I'm just Courtney. I just do what I do, and that's about it, you know. If you watch any of my videos, you can tell how fucking sporadic and here and there I am, you know. But it's like, I totally rather be that than fucking be on Adderall or Concerta, because for one, I don't take anything as prescribed, you know. If it says take 2 melatonin, I take 3, you know. That's just who I am. You know, and it's unfortunate, but at least I can admit that, because some people don't, you know, they can't, you know, admit their wrongs and stuff. But the initial point of this is just like, one day you're gonna get older, and you're gonna look back, you know, on all the stupid shit you did, and you're gonna, you know, look back at, like, the worst point in your life, or, like, the hardest times, and you're gonna be so, like, nostalgic over it. And that's, like, going to be the part that defined you. And something between, like, all the bullshit and all the pain and all the shit you wanted to get away from, you know, and the reasons why you wanted to kill yourself weren't that big of a deal. You know, like, should I bring that up? Like, so my sister-in-law is like a really good whatever. So when I first moved into my mom's, like, Sierra was just my friend, and she was little. She was two years. She's 2 years younger than me. So I had the hots for her sister, which was a year older than me, Laura. Now it's just so funny because she's so, like, she legit feels like she's a sister, you know? So I remember I was, like, head over heels with the idea of being with her back in the day, but she was kind of a hoe back in the day. And, but I was this little drunk emo kid that had way too many goddamn fucking feelings and didn't know when to shut the fuck up, you know? And so they used to make fun of me for that, always trying to get with Laura, and she did fucking, like, fuck with my head, and I'm not gonna go into detail, but there was something there, and I know there was, like, a mutual whatever, but it was too, like, it was too different for her, and I'm glad it didn't end up happening, because she is 100% the person, you know, she was supposed to be with her husband and everything, and we're, like, great friends. We don't talk hella much, but we live close together, kind of always have, you know, and often see each other on holidays, and we legit feel like family. So it's just like, even though you want something so bad at one point in time and think you'll die for it, like, sometimes you're wrong, you know, and sometimes it's good to be wrong, because, you know, I'm with her sister, you know, it's my best friend, and she's fucking crazy, and she's insane, and she, you know, she accuses me of shit that I don't do, and she drives me crazy, and sometimes I do want to hang myself because she's so woohoo. You know, like, she has cheated on me and threatens me about that, you know, but I'm not a fucking angel either, you know, and it's just like, no one's perfect, but at the end of the day, it's really nice to and I'm not advocating for staying in an abusive relationship, because there's no physical harm, it's just a lot of emotional shit. And, like, to be hella sexist, though, like, I feel like, I mean, with two bitches in a relationship, I mean, there's bound to be some drama, I'm sorry. Like, you know, I really don't feel womanly or anything like that, but I know I can be over dramatic, you know, and I know I'm just very self-aware, you know, at least I try to be. So, you know, but basically I'm just going into a lot of backstory, which I tend to do because I'll get right here and I'll go this way and I'll go that way and I'll come back to here and not remember what I was talking about. But basically everything is temporary, whether it's someone you like, someone you don't like, someone that's being mean to you, or, you know, whatever. I mean, I'm not saying, like, don't do anything about it. Like, do something about it. Fucking, if someone's bullying you, fucking bully them back. If someone's talking shit, talk shit back. If someone goes to hit you, beat the fuck out of them. You know, 100%. And, you know, I don't think that's bad advice. You know, like, you should stick up for yourself and fight for your life. You should take chances. Otherwise, you're gonna regret it. You know? But life always gets better, you know, regardless, not in 100% of the cases, but 90%, you know, and I've personally been on, like, such a whatever before, where all I want to do is die and stuff, but music has helped me, you know. That's why it was so devastating to me when Alexi Leo died at the beginning of this year, you know, because he is, like, everything I looked up to for so long. I looked like him, like, once again, going on MySpace, I fucking tried to emulate his look for so long. You know, my first concert, my fucking, you know, music means a lot. So I would say, like, yeah, you know, life fucking sucks ass, and it probably always will, period, you know, but at the end of the day, you need something to live for. Like, I live for my dogs and music, you know, my wife occasionally, but, I mean, she's not always a constant. My dogs and my music are, you know, and that's just reality. So it's just, like, find something that makes you want to live, and just fucking go for that. You know, I hope that kind of, that incoherent babbling made a little bit of sense. I just spit everywhere. That was cute. Do you see that? Anyway, I hope some of that shit made sense, because no matter in whatever situation you are, it could always be worse. You know, I've been, like, quote unquote homeless a couple of times, and couch surfing, and, you know, I've been whacked out on meth. You know, I've made a total fool of myself, and I've climbed back from that, you know. It's all part of growing up, and sometimes it takes a while to grow up. I'm gonna be 27 here in a couple months. I feel old as fuck, you know. I can't even believe it, you know. I'm not normally the one to be like, oh my god, I'm this age. I mean, I really don't care. But in terms of, like, you know, my lifetime expiring, I feel like it is. So, you know, one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna want to live longer. You're gonna want shit. So Just know that everything's temporary and don't make a fucking permanent decision on a temporary situation. I definitely stole that quote from somewhere that I don't remember, but it's very true. And comment below and let me know if I got my point across or if I should do another one, because I went down so many rabbit holes, I'm not sure where I ended up.